Good morning. Hi guys, I'm Dennis. Welcome to my channel, Guy with a Plant. In today's houseplant tour video, I'm going to show you all of my plants, but just some disclaimers. I don't have that many plants. It's just a small collection, probably around 60-ish to 70 plants. And also, some of them are not doing really well. They are struggling, not exactly very pretty. So don't bash me. Be kind. I'm still learning as well. And finally, I'm keeping them in this very low-tech environment. I don't have any humidifiers or any grow lights. So I'm hoping that they can do well under my conditions. So yeah, without further ado, let's look at some plants. Okay, let's start at this area here, which is by the kitchen sink and also kitchen window, which gets a partial afternoon sun because it's partially blocked by this apartment opposite. I have some cuttings here. Yeah, let's start from left to right. Okay, let me bring this up. Okay, this is a cutting of Marble Queen, Epiphanium aureum. Initially, it had only about maybe 3 leaves. As you can see, the darker green ones. And since I put it here, it has given me a lot of much whiter variegated leaves, which is really very nice. So they really do need very bright light to give it this very white, creamy variegation. The next cutting is this Epiphanium Pinata Cebu Blue. And I think it wants to make this spot its permanent housing because it has grown 2 very long vines since. Okay, this is one of them, and you can see it's rooting into another pot. Right, so this is a new vine that grows all the way here and is always giving a new leaf. And this is the second long vine growing into the sink, and it has kind of attached itself to the sink. Yeah, the arrow root is stuck. So I am going to propagate this really soon. There's a lot of arrow roots here, so I can cut all this up. I have a lot of plant material to propagate, and I'm going to stick the rooted cuttings back into this pot to make it a very large plant, and also probably going to put some cuttings with a pole and let it climb up because the mature form of this Cebu Blue is really beautiful with big fenestrated leaves. Okay, the next cutting is the Philodendron Brazil, which is not looking very good. Yeah, I know they are very easy plants, but somehow they don't really do well in my conditions. They're always giving me this very yellow looking leaves. Well, but I know it's still growing because this is a new leaf. They grow really slowly. And this is the variegated Epiphanium Pinata cutting. It was sitting in water for months, so I've decided to just pot it up. Yeah, the leaves are yellowing, so I don't think the leaves will make it, but hopefully it'll give me new leaves. I think I've overcompensated by keeping the potting medium really wet. So this is my sink area. Okay, so this is the main area where I keep most of my houseplants. There is this plant shelf here, and of course the balcony. And this little area here next to the sofa. Okay, let's talk about the elephant in the room. This is my Monstera Thigh constellation, and it is probably my biggest house plant that I have. I got this end of December 2020, so it's almost slightly more than a year, and it has given me a lot of big leaves. Look at this one. This is a relatively new leaf with secondary fenestrations, and yeah, most of the leaves are pretty big. And this is the new leaf that unfurled. Even though it's not as big as the rest, it has some nice variegation, and also yeah, secondary fenestrations as well, although not as many as this one. Yeah, but it's looking really nice. So when I first got it, it is sitting in this potting medium. In fact, this is still the original potting medium. There is not chunky with no bark and cocoa chips, but it is in a very dense potting medium, pretty peaty. I think this is mainly cocoa peat. But it has a lot of perlite, so I know it is still pretty well draining. And the seller is really confident that it will do well in this mix. And it is also in this terracotta pot, so I'm sure you'll pick out the moisture very quickly, and I don't have to worry about overwatering or root rot issues. Next to the TV is this very large pot of Synthepsis pictus exotica. When I first got it, it was only a 5 or 6 leafer, and it has grown a lot since. Yeah, it is trailing all the way down, and it has been giving me a lot of new leaves, but the newer leaves are always pretty small. So this is one of the plants that I'm going to propagate soon. Watch out for that video. And next to this Thai constellation is this Pothos Enjoy. It's a very common pothos, but it is really nicely variegated, and some of the leaves are actually pretty big. So you can see that some are almost fully green, and some are almost fully variegated. So there's really a nice mixture of leaf patterns here. This was a gift from a friend, and it was a large pot of plant already, but it wasn't this big. And it is now trailing all the way. So again, one of the plants that is due for propagation. Okay, right behind is Calathea leuconera. As you can see, I have no luck with Calatheas, especially these thinner leaf varieties. They tend to crisp or turn brown at the edges of the leaves. I believe it is a watering issue because they do not like to dry out, and I try to keep the potting medium moist by giving it some water every other day, because I tend to be an underwaterer. So yeah, I got to be on top of this when it comes to watering. I use water that's been sitting overnight, so hopefully that's dechlorinated and it helps, because I know they don't like water that has very high mineral content. This is still giving me new leaves, so I believe it's still doing okay. Okay, let's take a look at the plant shelf. It is actually still pretty bare. A lot of empty spaces. That's because I actually moved some of them out into the balcony to get some sun. Okay, let's start off with the plants at the top of this shelf. This is an Anthurium crystallinum, which I got from Indonesia. When I first got it, the leaves were pretty small, but it has grown to give me these very big leaves. But they usually don't look very pretty, because you'll see all these brown and yellow edges, which I contribute to my low humidity levels. And they like to be moist, so I will actually usually give it a sphagnum moss top dressing, but okay, not for this one. But I keep them pretty moist, which they will like. So this is the other ugly leaf. I've resigned to the fact that I will not get perfect leaves on these anthuriums here. And next to it is this very interesting looking syngonium. This is a syngonium chair pants, which looks like a philodendron. That's the reason why I was so keen to get this when I saw it on somebody's YouTube channel. Thought it's really interesting, and it is a very easy plant as well. Oh, you can see there's a new leaf that's going to unfurl. This was the latest new leaf, but I didn't notice there's one happening here as well. So it's very easy plant. Even here, I think the light is not very strong, and it's still giving me very big leaves. So next to this syngonium, okay, this one is a very old leaf, so it's going to die off. Okay, next to it is some cuttings of this Rhaphidophora tetrasperma, which is not looking the best because it's been in this water propagation for months. I'm supposed to pot it up. And next to it is this Philodendron Brazil, which is also not looking very good. I've propagated this, some cuttings everywhere. But yeah, I don't think it likes to dry out that much, because if I let it dry out too much, you know, I'll get this. Yeah, I can never figure out what it needs. Okay, on the second level is this cuttings of Palileona repens, or commonly known as the watermelon begonia. But it is neither a begonia or a watermelon plant. It is a very easy trailing plant, but for some reason the cuttings are not growing very fast. I think I may have underwatered this. Yeah, next to it is a begonia. This is a Begonia Julau. I got it as a 2-leaf cutting, and the original 2 leaves are gone, and these are all the new leaves. Very interesting looking. It looks like a butterfly. Yeah, the wings of a butterfly. I would say this is definitely more suitable in terrarium conditions, because it needs to be moist. So it is sitting in this sphagnum moss. Yeah, I hope to put it in a terrarium soon if I get similar types of begonia as well. And next we have some Scindapsus here. This is the Scindapsus jade satin. So if you look at the leaves, it is really very green, emerald green. Even though it doesn't really have any patterns on the leaves, the color is really dark green, very rich. It started to trail, so I will tour the vines around. And this one is the Scindapsus Pictus Silver Hero. This is very slow growing for me, because I think, yeah, because it's silvery, doesn't have much chlorophyll. I got it as a 1-leaf cutting, but now it's only like 4 leaves. This is a new one coming out. The original leaf is dying off. So yeah, goodbye. And this is one of my favorite Scindapsus, because look at the patterns on the leaves. Yeah, it looks like some watercolor painting, which I really like. Yeah, again, it was a 2-leaf cutting when I got it, and yeah, the very big leaves. And once you start to trail, you see the leaves will get smaller. So I think this will benefit from a pole. Oh, and I missed out this one. This is a very ugly looking Epiphanium pinatum variegata. It's grown very awkwardly because I've got a lot of cuttings from this original vine, and I think it's starting to branch out. So I will need to cut this off and root it again. It has a lot of long aerial roots. Okay, on the next level, oh, you can't see from here. Okay, this is the Rhaphidophora tetrasperma. This is a cutting that has grown really unruly. It has grown downwards, and yeah, look at this. So it has kind of become a trailing plant, which is not supposed to be the case. But the leaves are, okay, these are some of the original leaves, and the new leaves are growing smaller and smaller. But I kind of like the look of it. Kind of a very jungly vibe, a wild look. I'll show the original parent plant later. So let's look at what's on this shelf. Okay, this is Anthurium. This is the Anthurium Doriaki Silver. It definitely had more leaves than this. Everything died off, and then it grew this single leaf out, and this later this little baby leaf. But as you can see, it's definitely not doing very well. Yeah, I've given it some sphagnum moss as a top dressing to keep the humidity levels up. Yeah, Anthuriums, they don't like me. Next is this. Okay, let's take a look at another Anthurium. This is Anthurium cristalinum as well, a single leaf one. You see the leaf is already yellowing. This variety is a smaller leaf one compared to this big leaf variety that I have. It's not doing anything. Anyway, okay, the next plant here is this Piper. This is Piper's silvaticum, and it is really gorgeous. Look at the veins and the contrasting dark and lighter green colors on the leaves. Really nice. The new leaves are really small. Okay, so next to it is another Piper, which I'm really proud, because this is a Piper ornatum. It grew from a single leaf cutting, but that leaf is no longer here. That leaf actually dropped off when the original parent plant was delivered to me, and I propagated it in water for a very long time before I started to root. But unfortunately, the parent plant is already gone from, I suspect, was over fertilization. All the leaves turn black. But this is growing very nicely, and I like the way it's climbing up this side of the shelf. Look at this new leaf. Very nice. Next to it is Philodendron soderoy. This is still very juvenile, but it has a lot of leaves. And you can see the new leaves coming out. This is a new leaf as well. So I will give it a pause soon because I think it needs it. It's in this very loose aeroid mix. Oh, okay. Behind this is this. Let me try to take this out. This is a mini propagation box with some string of turtle This what is this? This is a Hoya Super Silver, Hoya Lucanara Super Silver, and this is a very cute silver sword, Philodendron silver sword. And I think this is a wax stick of a Rhaphidophora tetrasperma, which is not doing anything. Okay, hanging here is a Hoya Archbodiana. This is the only surviving leaf, but it's a really big leaf, and this is one of the Hoyas which I bought because of the flowers. The flowers are really interesting, very big. When I first got it, I think it had maybe about definitely more leaves than this, maybe 10 over leaves. But somehow I think it got some bacterial infection. Sometimes I tend to underwater this, which I realize is a big mistake. Yeah, but it is resilient. There are new leaves coming out. And okay, this is, oh, check out the aerial root of this Thai constellation. Yeah, reaching out. Okay, this is very unsuccessful cuttings of Hoya Sunrise. I think they are all dying. I'm going to check this out after this. Next here, okay, this is the perennial repens, the watermelon begonia. This is the parent plant, and it is trailing all the way down. I think there are at least 4 or 5 vines trailing down to the floor. So this is a very good trailing plant. And next to it is a Philodendron silver sword. Okay, it was sold to me as silver metal, but I think it is just a variant of the silver sword. So it's yeah, Philodendron hastatum. The leaves are really nice and silvery, but I think it's still pretty juvenile. I know the silver sword has, the mature ones has very big leaves. Yeah, new leaves. And this is one of my favorite Hoyas. This is the Hoya Memorial because it is very prolific. Look at the leaves. But unfortunately, most of my Hoyas, they don't flower for me, except for the Sunrise, which is dead. It was burned under a hot day. Also growing very long, giving me very long vines. Okay, there's nothing much on the bottom shelf. Just some empty pots which I need to manage. Okay, this is a Calathea Doughty, I think. This is a cutting that was given to me by a friend, and yeah, some of the older leaves have died off. They are still here, really crispy, but it has given me new leaves as well. These 3 are the new leaves. They definitely like it moist. I think underneath this lacquer ball, a pretty peaty and dense medium, so it retains water very well, which they like. They like it to be moist, and I think this is one of those easier Calatheas compared to those thinner leaf ones. Okay, this doesn't need a lot of bright light because, as you can see, they have purple backs. So the purple backs will actually prevent light from going through, so to retain light for the leaves. This one, I just potted this up, some of the cuttings of the Epiphanium Pinatum variegata. In my previous video, you can check it out. I can see there are actually some new growth. Yeah, see? So these are the new growth. Okay, and the last plant here is this very interesting fern. It is blue, metallic blue, really nice. You didn't get many blue plants, and this is definitely one of them. So that is what makes it so interesting. In order to retain this blue coloration, you need to give it low to medium light, because if you give it brighter light, then you'll start to green up. This is really a stunning plant. Okay, let's look at this area here, which is next to my sofa. Okay, let's start off with this. This is an Enodendron Athene. When I first bought this, I was sold to as a Syndapsus lucens, which I know now is Miss ID. I've given this plant a plank for it to climb, but I think it's not really sticking to it, so it has kind of like grown out of the plank. Yeah, I think it looks nice against the wall. There's this very subtle venations on the leaves, which I think is really very nice. It needs to be moist. It doesn't like to dry out. If not, you'll give you this like brown tips. Okay, speaking of moist, this is my Philodendron Brantianum, the brandy. Okay, when I first got this, it had many huge leaves at the base of the plant, but it didn't really like the new environment, so they drop off, and these are all the new leaves that grew out. Really like the silvery splashes, and when the new leaf unfurl, it has a bronzy kind of color, and then you're hardened to this. Okay, one thing I found out about this Brantianum is that it doesn't like to dry out totally, as opposed to what most people said online. I was told that, you let it dry out, then you water this Philodendron. But no, it doesn't. It likes to be moist. So I water this more frequently than a typical Philodendron. And it seemed to have stabilized after that. Okay, another Philodendron here is the Splendid. This is a hybrid between Philodendron verrucosum and Philodendron melanochrysum. This is a new leaf, so usually they'll come out brown. Yeah, but I'm not sure what's wrong with this. It has a lot of yellow spots, but it doesn't have any pests on the leaves. It could be those extra floral nectaries. Yeah, but this is the only leaf on the plant. The older ones have died off. So I understand the hybrid is easier than the original plants. Okay, next is a cutting of this Philodendron majestic, which is a hybrid between Philodendron verrucosum and Philodendron soderoy. Yeah, you can see the red backs of the verrucosum. When it came, it had a very big leaf that kind of yellowed off. So I'm left with this one, which is one of the original leaves, and this is a new leaf that came out, but it's still very small. And there is a new leaf that is happening here. So it is still in its original pot, very, very gritty potting medium. So I'm going to repot this and give it a pull. Okay, this is another Calathea. This is Calathea ornata. Check out the leaves, really very beautiful with these pink stripes. And again, this is a Calathea, so it doesn't need very bright light. As you can see, it has these purple backs, but it definitely needs to be moist. Don't ever let it dry out. So I water this like every other day. I will give it a little bit of water. Next to me is this Dieffenbachia. This is a Dieffenbachia reflector. Check out my life of a plant video of this Dieffenbachia, but I'll give you a quick update here. Some of the leaves are not doing very well. You can see it's a bit discolored. This is the new leaf that unfurled, and this is the second new leaf since the last update. But wow, look at this. Look at this very neon mid-rib, really stunning. The rest of the leaves are looking okay. Love the camouflage patterns. But yeah, these two leaves are yellowing. I can see quite clearly that, yeah, it's kind of fading, but not dying yet. So yeah, let's see. And there is a little baby here. Nice. Okay, behind is my Lepidoptera tetrasperma, which I've let it climb up a bamboo stick. I really like this look, this single vine look. Looks very structural. When I first got this plant, it was in a very sad state because it was given to me in yellow clay, and I had to propagate it because the stem started to rot. So this was one of the cuttings that I let it grow. Really, really nice. And this is yeah, a new leaf.